What's happening, everybody? Hope you all had a great Labor Day weekend. Today, you're going to be hearing me, Sean, and Jesse going to break down what we think's going on with football being back, who's going to win this week, and also break down a little bit on how confidence and ego can be a little different and how to leverage them, not only when building teams, but living your own life. And don't forget to stick around. Here's our 5-minute fitness tip.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Huddle. I'm here with my boy,
Christian Roddy.
and my boy,
Jesse Maso.
yes, sir. So let's get it popping. What's going on with your week, bro?
my week flew by, actually.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember what the fuck happened. It was that busy. Nah, it was good.
End of August, it's September now. We got Labor Day coming up. Whole bunch of stuff. What do you mean?
No, yeah. So wrapping up the month close for the work and then kind of like prepping for the month coming up. It's always like, I feel like it's always sporadic because like you want to do like close your bookends, but you want to also like enjoy the success of like winning last month. Yeah. And then, but you also want to set up for next month and not have like a closeout hangover.
Yeah.
So taking care of that, mixed in with that, I know we were talking about one of my employees potentially interviewing for promotion to another facility. They got it. So I was also holding interviews all week for backfilling his position. So
nice.
that was crazy too. But no, it was really good week. Felt really energized though. Like as much as I was busy, like I'd come home tired, but like mentally and like what I do, I feel like I was recharged this week through the work I was doing. So it was cool.
Yes, sir. That's good.
Yeah, how about your week? Since you were waiting, he's like, is he going to ask me?
Waiting for this motherfucker to ask me, I guess not. We were just going to keep rocking with his little episode today. But yeah, no, my week was good. Thanks for asking.
Yes, sir.
What did I do this week? So where did I go this week? I can't even
See,
remember.
once you ask that question, it's like your mind goes
I feel like I did so. Oh, it was my homie's birthday this weekend, so we went out to San Diego. So we went to downtown San Diego, so that was fun. And then I'm actually pretty proud of this week just because I set myself to a standard of like trying to wake up early in the morning to go work out. Mm-hmm. And I was successful this week, so like nice. That was a good thing. So I worked out every day this week, so that makes me feel really good because
no excuses.
Last week I was kind of like off and on, and I was like kind of out of my vibe. So I feel like I'm back into the groove, and it's just like you said, wrapping up August was like one of the bigger things, and then setting up for September, but also like enjoying like such a good August because we did have a good August as a club. So yeah, and just digesting everything that I learned in August and putting it into September. So that's literally all it was this week. But yeah, I'm excited for this upcoming week because it's Labor Day.
Labor Day weekend. Yeah, when you guys hear this, Labor Day would have just passed.
Yeah. So
I hope y'all stay safe, and I hope y'all had fun, you little filthy animals.
Have a great Labor Day.
Or
both of y'all.
Now I hope that you had a good Labor Day.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited. We're gonna be golfing on that weekend too, so potentially. If I can find the confirmation.
We'll be golfing, damn it.
But yeah, we're gonna be golfing, and then send rest of the week. Got some good plans. We're getting tatted next week, so actually it'd be this week when this episode comes out. So yeah,
nice.
Is that your leg that you're getting done?
Yeah, I'm getting my leg done. I was supposed to get it done like 2 weeks ago, but she called out on me, so low key kind of uppercut her when I see her. No, I'm playing. I don't hit women.
PSA.
But nah, bro, I was very upset because I was looking forward to getting tatted, and she was like, "Yeah, like I got a sore throat. I can't tat you." And I was like,
Are you doing any fantasy football leagues?
Yeah, I am.
Because I was getting my haircut. My barber, he was like, "Hey, you doing any this year?" Usually we chop it up with him because he's a big sports fan. I was like, maybe I might be doing one. What about you? He's like, yeah, I just finished my 5th draft. I was like, yo, 5th? How can you keep up with that?
It's so crazy, bro, because some people be taking this shit to the fullest. Like, but I'm in a league with a couple of coworkers. Well, not a couple of coworkers, but one coworker, and then like a couple of like their friends and family. But they have like a ring that you get when you win, and it's a pretty fire ring. I ain't gonna hold you. Like I saw it, and I was like, wow, y'all taking this serious. But yeah, it's funny because even like I've been seeing the memes come around for like fantasy football, and it's like when you lose in fantasy football, and like the loser has to wears like a dress for like the next round of golf or something like that. It's pretty funny. But yeah, I'm in a league this year, so first pick Justin Herbert. Don't holler at me.
Wow. You're
That's
literally the meme of like how tell me you don't know anything about fantasy football without telling me you don't know anything about fantasy football
This
is
guy.
you draft a quarterback in your first round.
Okay, first of all, we're going off of full point PPR, so that's where all my money's gonna come at is quarterbacks.
Okay, sure, whatever you want to say.
And it's a super flex, so I'm gonna pick up another quarterback too. All right, just wait. When the quarterback gives you the most points,
We gonna have weekly check-ins on,
Weekly check-ins.
Sean,
Don't holler at
Sean's
me. Don't holler at
fantasy
me.
football league.
I'm gonna get Josh Allen and Justin Herbert in first and second round.
Sheesh.
You know how many wide receivers and running backs are gonna be? These washed up wide receivers. Cooper Kupp, bro, he's not even gonna do that good this year.
Damn, you don't think so?
No.
Why?
That man was saucy last
He
year.
was saucy last year. I'm not going to take it away from him. Cooper Kupp was that guy last year. But this year, I feel like he's just going to be riding the coattail of OBJ, and he's not going to hold up to it.
Is OBJ still there?
Yeah, he's still there. He's just
Really?
injured.
Damn. That was so sad. I was so happy he got that touchdown in the beginning of the game or whatever.
Yeah.
That was wavy.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see. The first game is on Thursday, so we'll see exactly how Cooper Kupp goes against the Bills. Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. You know, that's going to be a fire game. I'm excited for that.
So that's like the season opener.
Yeah.
Is
Thursday night, September 8th.
So you have Los Angeles Rams versus Buffalo Bills.
Yep.
Man, I low key. So who do you got winning?
I got the Bills, low key. I feel like the Rams are going to be so hyped up. I feel like the Rams are going to be so hyped from their Super Bowl win.
Super Bowl hangover?
Yeah, and it's going to be Super Bowl hangover. And I feel like they really haven't been training like that over on the offseason. Maybe like Aaron Donald is probably the only one just because he a dog and that's it. But
Damn.
I feel like the Bills, I don't like to say this, but Bills Mafia and like the Bills they're like low key like a sleeper team because I feel like everyone sleeps on the Bills for some reason.
Well, I think people on the West Coast sleep on the Bills, but they, as of lately, the last couple of seasons have been regular deep playoff contenders.
Yeah, they've been damn near Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah, it's like they're in arguably the harder division, right? AFC,
Yeah.
you gotta like go through Patrick Mahomes, you gotta go through all these other teams. Justin Herbert with the Chargers.
Russell Wilson, Broncos.
Well, now Russell Wilson on the Broncos.
You see
Well, the AFC
extension?
West now is just fucking crazy.
You got a
but
guaranteed-
AFC in general is just kind of crazy.
He got a guaranteed $165 million.
What?
Russell Wilson.
I didn't know that.
He signed a 5-year extension for $235 million.
He's kind of old. That's
And,
wild.
and 165 is guaranteed.
And they haven't even seen him like
That's crazy.
play a game with
Bro,
him yet?
my boy could break his leg tomorrow and he's still getting paid.
That's
wild.
Good for them.
Yeah, good for Russell.
Good for him.
Shout out Russell.
But no, I think Josh Allen's a dog. I think he's low key a little underrated right now. Yeah, I just saw over the offseason, like everyone's saying he's a great quarterback. Like when they give out the quarterback rankings.
Yeah.
But as far as like winning, I feel like they underrate the potential of that team. They're like Josh Allen's a top 5 quarterback, but the Bills aren't a top 5 team. I'm like, bro, maybe.
I don't know, like if they're. That's hard to say. Like they could be a top 5 team, like because realistically, who's the top 5 team right now? It's
Chiefs.
the Rams. Chiefs are not top 5 team right now. That was the goofiest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Hey, we'll see.
You guys just lost one of your like key elements.
That man, his speed will eventually wear off.
Crazy is, what's
And
crazy?
I won't-
You hear this? What's crazy is now if he was still on the team, he'd be like the best wide receiver in the league. Whoop-de-whoop.
Well, that's when he's complimented with the best quarterback in the league. But
Okay, first of all, he's not the best quarterback in the league.
What?
What?
He's top 3.
No, he's not.
Patrick Mahomes?
After last season?
You think Patrick Mahomes isn't top 3 quarterback?
No.
You're crazy. Because he had.
Who's top 3?
So
Is
it depends on
Pat
if you-
Mahomes better than Tom Brady?
I say right now he's better.
Oh my God, this guy's wilding.
He is a better overall quarterback
Tom
than Tom
Brady
Brady right
literally
now.
he brings his team to the Super Bowl.
Didn't last year.
Neither did Pat.
He was first round. Was
Neither-
it first round out?
neither did Pat.
Yeah. Well, this year,
Neither did
Patrick
Pat.
Mahomes is a better quarterback.
And then he won the Super Bowl the following year.
Hey, that's fine.
Okay, he's better than Justin Herbert?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
No, not at all.
What do you mean?
He had
Patrick Mahomes?
Justin
Yeah.
Herbert had way
He's
more.
so biased.
Justin Herbert had more passing yardage last season than him, and more touchdowns. So what are you going off of pure stats? He's better on
No.
paper.
Nope.
You're just a biased Chiefs fan.
You a biased
oh my
Herbert fan.
God! I'm going off of stats. I'm going off of pure paper stats.
I didn't do my research today, so I'm
Josh
not ready for
Allen.
that.
He's better than Josh Allen. Or is Josh Allen better than him?
It depends. They have different skill sets.
The fact that you said that Josh Allen isn't better than him is
He's not. He's not better on the run. He's not better outside of the pocket. And
Pat Mahomes is a like small quarterback that's not going to be like not small as in like
he's like
as
6'2",
like
230.
persona. I'm not talking about like height. I'm talking about small in like his era of when it's going to be living. Like he's not going to be a pocket running quarterback for that long.
He doesn't even like running out of the pocket.
Yeah, he does it. He does it every fucking
because our
game,
O-line was trash.
and it's still trash.
No, it's got better. They released a preseason stat.
Okay, so
preseason,
do you know who has the most top 100 players on their team?
I don't know. Do you know who?
I'll give you a guess.
Do you know who was?
I'll let you guess.
What?
It's the Chargers.
The Chargers? That's great. Where are they? 99, 98, 97?
What? No, it's top 100, bro. That's you got.
Where was Justin Herbert?
He was one of the top quarterbacks.
What was he?
I don't know.
Really? Because
know.
Patrick Mahomes was the third highest ranked quarterback.
Can you look it up?
He was number 8. The only people in front of him, I believe, were Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady.
So then Tom Brady is better than him then.
But I still said he was a top 3.
So is Aaron Rodgers better?
He's had a better career. Right now, I can't put
So
Patrick
then he's
over
not
him.
better.
If I was building a team, I'm taking Patrick over Aaron right now.
Number 40.
Number 4, Justin Herbert.
Man, that's far away from 8.
He just got into the league. What do you want
You
from
said
him?
he was better. That's voted by
he
other
is better.
players.
He is better.
32 people worse.
Stop.
You guys want to hear the NFL's power ranking?
Yes.
Okay, ready? Number 1 team, Rams.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, Bills.
Oh.
Number 3, Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
4, Packers.
Told you they were top 5 team.
And 5, Buccaneers.
That's crazy.
I didn't hear the Chargers on there anyway.
No worries.
They're,
When was this?
Bengals over the Chargers?
That's because the Bengals went to the Super Bowl last week. That's the only reason.
So hot take. I don't think the Bengals are that good.
No.
They're not that good.
I think
it was pure luck that
Bro,
they got
like,
to the Super Bowl.
honestly, like Raiders should have beat them. Chiefs should have beat them.
Chargers did beat them.
Prior to the playoffs. Yeah, that was like their last loss of the season, right? That's a hot take though. I don't know, but
They're not that good.
I think just like everything was happening right for
It was
them.
just it was literally like everything was lining up.
And then like
perfectly
Patrick
for 'em.
Mahomes and from Andy Reid wanted to run in circles instead of kicking a field goal into before the half and the end of the game. Like, don't get me started on that. But yeah, but back to what we were saying.
Anyways,
Buffalo Bills versus Rams opening night.
two of the top seed, top
Two teams?
top 2 teams.
I
Damn.
put it on Buffalo Bills because I think, which that's crazy. That was the power ranking. I didn't know they had Bills at number 2.
I knew Bills
think-
were top 3.
I think Josh Allen wants to dominate. Like he feels like he's had great performances, but when you talk about a Super Bowl contending quarterback or of their era, like whose is it?
Yeah.
I feel like he's getting overshadowed a little bit.
Sure.
And he's kind of like in this in between of coming after Patrick, but now you've got like Justin Herbert and everybody coming up, and he's got to capitalize on this moment to solidify himself.
So Josh Allen is in the era of who?
Oh, he's
Because I'm
of all
putting
these
him in.
people
I'm
right
putting
now.
him in the era of the Pat Mahomes and
He is.
Okay.
He is. Just his draft class, I'd have to look at, but I think it's like 2 years behind him. But
yeah.
and then like 2 years ahead of Justin Herbert. But I would put them all in the same era in the grand scheme of things. When you zoom out in like 20 years from now, they'll be considered the same era.
Who? Pat,
Justin Josh Allen, maybe even Joey Burrow now. Like Pat's only been in the league like 5 years? I think something like that.
2017.
17 or 16?
It might be 16.
It might be 16. I don't
Well,
know.
he was drafted, but then he sat behind Alex Smith, and
for a
then
year.
eventually played.
So yeah, that's 4 years.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they jumped up and grabbed him, and everybody was like, what?
Yeah, traded up. Well, because everybody said he's this wild card gunslinger.
Yeah.
Which at the time he
Which
was.
he is. He is still.
He's gotten a little cleaner, but
Yeah.
God, I love Travis Kelce. Yeah, just thinking about that because like he could be so wild because I feel like no matter what in his checkdowns, you have like arguably the greatest tight end ever, and then also like right now that in your checkdown. So
All right. Well, all right. Well, the Chiefs man over here thinks they're going somewhere, and I hate to say it, but I'm pretty sure they were in the same power ranking last year, and they didn't do anything. So that's kind of sad.
AFC Championship game,
Again,
they lost, but they should have won
Again.
that. That was theirs to lose.
Again.
Did you make it to the playoffs? I don't remember.
What do you mean?
I don't remember.
Stop.
Y'all got beat by the Raiders.
We tied with the Raiders in overtime, and we should have kicked the field goal. I mean, they should have just need the ball because they would have both went into the playoffs. But But no,
We want to call it
we
timeout.
want to call timeout, and then the Raiders are like, you know what? Fuck them. We're going to kick a field goal to win it.
Wait, all right, so Buffalo or Rams?
I just told you Buffalo because
All right.
Josh Allen, Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs and what's his name? Their other wide receiver. Devontae Adams? Wrong.
He's on the Raiders now.
Yeah. What's his name? Not Devontae Adams. Anyways, definitely the Bills. And I feel like the Bills have a better line than the Rams.
Yeah.
And a solid defense too. I mean, Aaron Donald's a dog, but
So Von Miller went somewhere else, right?
Von Miller,
he's
I
out.
don't know.
He didn't do that
I
much
was gonna say
in
Von
the
Miller
Super Bowl.
was a wash. So I think the Bills definitely got him, but it's gonna be a great game. I think their ego is gonna get to the best of them because they just won a Super Bowl. So we'll see how that goes.
No, damn, yeah, that's tough. It definitely that battling of like, okay, we are the champions. The confidence of like we deserve to be here, and we're gonna run it back and prove to you that it wasn't a fluke, and like we didn't buy our ring, like we're that good.
Yeah.
Versus kind of like that ego, which is like they missed a couple practices. We're that good. We're gonna come in. You're in our house, and we're gonna dominate.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think that's kind of a battle that a lot of people face. Is what is that line of like knowing like, hey, I am like here. I've arrived. Like I worked hard for this. Versus like, yo, I'm that guy. Like I don't gotta do nothing.
Him.
It's gonna happen.
I'm him.
And that's something that I've battled with. Not so much like that, but where I err on the side of caution to where I'm worried about people thinking I'm overly confident and like I have too big of an ego, and because I'm kind of like in a lot of leadership roles, and I'm not confident enough a lot of times in my life. But how does that kind of transition for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think for the ego and the confidence, and I feel like people mistake like being arrogant for confidence, because there's a point where you can be overly confident to the point where it comes off as arrogance, and it's like I think that's where that fine line is when you start becoming arrogant, because that's when you are being closed-minded and you don't take constructive criticism. Like I'm confident, and I feel like I'm confident to the point where I can still take outside criticism from people that like, hey, like, by the way, like you can improve on this or you can improve on this. And I think the arrogance is more of like, I'm confident and I know I'm like the shit, and you can't tell me I'm not the shit because I am the shit. And I think that's just arrogance. I don't even think that's confidence. I think that's just you being arrogant at that point.
Yeah.
Which it could be like over amount of confidence, but I think that's when that line gets separated, because once you stop taking constructive criticism and once you stop taking feedback, regardless how confident you are, I feel like that's when you're like going into that arrogant stage where it's like you're not the best. Yeah. Like no one's the best at whatever they do.
Yeah, and it'll hinder your progression too, because then you'll never be better than you currently are.
Yeah, and I feel like when you're in that stage of like being super confident, like of course, like you can win a bunch of MVPs at your company for like months on months, and I think that's when you have to take a step back and be like, you know what, like where can I improve on myself, and continuously improve, because once you start getting super confident, it could lead to complacency, and I think that's what a lot of people struggle with, is being like overly confident, and it leads to complacency, because they don't realize that they're not the shit anymore, because they've just been riding this like wave of confidence, essentially. If that makes sense, I don't know if that makes sense.
No, yeah, that makes sense. And honestly, I don't even. So yeah, it'll having too much confidence and having like where it's ego, not confidence.
Yeah.
It'll definitely hinder your personal development, and to what you saying, kind of like getting you stagnant, and then all of a sudden one day you'll realize you're like, fuck, I'm not that guy anymore. Yeah. But even more than that, like whether it's in a sports environment or like your workplace or a team, ego can prevent the chemistry of the team. Because like imagine you just win a Super Bowl. Cooper Kupp was like the greatest wide receiver of the season, right? Whatever. And it's like, how does that affect the ego with him and his teammates? And it's like the same as like as a leader, or if you're a teammate with somebody else, like does that ego affect your compatibility with others, your cohesiveness? Because everybody said they were so good because of the chemistry Cooper Kupp had with his quarterback. And it's like, what if Cooper Kupp was like, nah, I ran that route this way, and that's why he's going to get ran. Whether it was like, yo, no, we're running against this defense, you need to run this.
Slap Cooper Cup. Nah, but that's true because like that's a form of like I feel like arrogance and ego go hand in hand because like I feel like if you're arrogant, you probably most likely have an ego. Because again, you think you're the shit and your shit don't stink. But I feel like there's definitely times where people that are super confident kind of tiptoe into that like ego stage. But I feel like that gets misconstrued for confidence in like ego.
So how do you separate the two?
That's a good question. Like I realistically don't know. I feel like at the end of the day, like you just got to be humble. But I feel like being too humble will like diminish like your sense of confidence in a sense. I don't know.
I forget what president it was. But whenever I think of confidence and kind of how I try to live my life, it's like speak softly but carry a big stick. Like that's what they were talking about with like America, like way back in the day.
Is that the actual saying? speak softly but carry a big stick. I feel like that's. I feel like that's not.
Hey yo!
I feel like that's not it, but
Let me look that up.
maybe like speak softly but carry a big
Speak
persona.
softly and carry a big stick.
What? What are they referring to? I don't understand. Like, I don't understand the context of like this whole like.
Well, it was pretty much so. This was when America was younger, right? United States of America, and we were kind of talking about Southern America and pretty much everything on the Western Hemisphere of the world.
Yeah.
And because
So this is an old ass quote.
It's an old quote.
Okay.
So we dominate America, right? And other countries were still looking towards Southern America a little bit, and like, we want to travel this way. We want to see what's good there, and we were pretty much like, now this side of the world's like, it's ours. Like, you mess with it, like, you're going to mess with America if you pretty much type deal. And so it was this whole, he was like, we're going to let you do what you want, but you come on this side of the world, it's a problem. And like, that's where it was like, speak softly, but carry a big stick. And then that's where we really started to invest in our military and stuff like that.
What is the big stick? Is that for beating
That's our
people?
No, it's our military force.
So it is for beating people.
Yeah.
Oh, so the stick is. Oh my God, this is such like that is an old school saying. That's like, speak softly, but make sure you got a big ass gun with you. Make sure you got make sure you keep a big ass gun with you.
So refers to President Roosevelt's foreign policy. Speak softly and carry a big stick. You will go far.
Shout out to Roosevelt.
Yeah.
What a gangster for that one. Speak softly but carry a big stick.
Yeah,
I've never heard that, but I'm gonna start using it.
Roosevelt described his style of foreign policy as the exercise of intelligent forethought and of decisive action sufficiently far in advance of any likely crisis.
Yeah.
So it was pretty much like, I'm like America, like the confidence that ego, but then it was like confidence. It was like, hey, like, we're going to be America. We're going to do what we want to do. You can do what you want to do, but you come over here.
Yeah.
It's a problem that we ready to handle.
We got this stick with us.
So not in that sense, but kind of in my work, it's like, I know what value I bring to the table. I know how hard I work. So I don't need to talk all the time about it. So it's kind of like, that was my thought process of like speaking softly, but it's then when it's like, when it comes to work to work, you want to compare where we're at. Like, that was my big stick. Like, I have a lot of body of work that we can compare. So, and it's like, I go hard for whatever I try to do, in my way. So,
yeah, I agree because like, in a sense, like I feel like I try to do the same thing where it's like, I'm the speaking softly, but like I'm the giant in the room. Like, I still hold the power, but again, like I speak softly, and it's like almost like don't take my kindness for weakness.
Yep.
And that's where, in a sense, where it's like I'm not confident. I'm confident, but to the point where I know that I still need to humble. So like be humble, and then that's where it could be taken for either complacency or like weakness or an ego, because it's like, just because I'm being like kind and soft spoken, it's like just don't take that for weakness, because again, like, I'm a very confident person and I know how to carry my confidence. So it definitely could go both ways. And like when I am outspoken and when I am like loud, it could probably come off as like an ego. And I've heard like that from like a couple people where it's like I come off with like the too cool for school mentality, where it's like I could care less about things, which I do. Like, I could care less about things, but I don't think that comes from me just being overly confident, though. Like, I think that's just me, like, understanding, like, not to stress out about big things, I guess. I don't know.
That makes sense. That makes sense to me because I know you. But,
Yeah.
I don't know. God, I had a question based on something you said, but
So
pause.
so then how do you how do you separate confidence and ego?
Well, I don't think ever having too big of an ego has like been necessarily a problem for me because what I was saying earlier is like my mentality is that speak softly type stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of times people have told me like I need to be louder. Like I need to let people know like because some people think that my lack of vocalism towards my own capabilities is an insecurity. I'm like, and that's that like, no, like I'm good over here, but
No, yeah.
it's
I
just
believe
I'm
that.
not talking about it all the time.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to go say I'm the best at this, and it's like I don't have to say I'm good at that. It's like the people I work with will know, and the people that don't, I mean, they won't until it's time that I find that they need to know.
That my work speak for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. I agree. Like, I think that is
like-
good. Oh.
Like so referring to football earlier, like the biggest saying that you hear when you're growing up in like young athletics is like the Jerry Rice. Like Jerry Rice is one of the greatest wide receivers to ever play the game. He's not back there hooting and hollering, spiking the ball, yelling. It's like a lot of times he'd run back over the ref. Like, here you go. Act like you've been there before.
Yeah. My boy really let his work speak for him,
Yeah.
honestly. But I get where you're coming from because I feel like there is a point and there is a time and place where you need to show your confidence. And knowing you as a person, like I understand like how you are, and I think obviously there is times where you should definitely be the most confident one in the room and outspoken in the room because you are the greatest in the room. You feel me? So it's like that is, I guess it's like a double-edged sword because if you're overly confident, it comes as ego, and then if you're confident but yet reserved in it, it comes as like an insecurity or like kindness for weakness in a sense. And again, like I think the quietest person in the room is like the one you should watch out for.
Yep.
And that's my mentality. And I think you always got to watch out for like the quiet person because if they're not doing too much talking, then that means they're just straight about action.
Yep. They're about action and they're observing.
Exactly. And they're observing and they're watching everything. And that's something that I've dealt with too, is where it's like I just stay quiet and then people think I'm just like too cool for school. But realistically, like it's just me observing like the crowd and the atmosphere and like getting understanding of like where I should be adding my 2 cents in and not coming overly confident and to the point where I'm coming off arrogant.
And the same could be true where it's like the loudest person in the room could be the most insecure in the
weakest.
room.
Yeah.
The weakest and most insecure. And like that's that ego. They're too worried about hurting their ego and like everyone thinking like, oh, if I'm quiet, they think I don't know or I'm not the best. So they have to like project it into the room.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is just like one, their ego, and they can't allow themselves to be quiet and they're trying to overcompensate. And then 2 is like, even if they don't know it, it's unconsciously that they're doing that. Like they think they know, they think they're the best, but it's because they're not sitting back and observing and letting themselves find out like who else is in the room.
Yeah. And what's crazy is if you're the type of person like I am, like you are, I love to people watch and I love to like understand, like I love to read the room and like understand people's like where their headspace is. And I'm like trying to like read everyone and get a figure of like emotional integrity that they have. And then you can always tell like based off like people's demeanors and like how they act, if they're overly confident and have an ego, or if they're just being arrogant and they just don't know, and it's like, or if they're underly confident and they're definitely really that guy, and it's like that's the stuff I watch out for, and I'm like, So I think that's a great, and I think it's fun, especially like when we're at like meetings and like our like RVP meetings and like stuff like that, and it's like you really can see like who knows what they're talking about, who's bullshitting, and who really doesn't know like what's going on, and the people that are kind of like in the middle of like I know what's going on, but like I just know I don't have to like justify that I know what's going on.
Yep.
You feel me? So, but I love sitting in meetings and like watching that. And,
picking where everybody's at on that scale.
Yeah. So like I definitely put people on the scale and realize like where they are. Because like they're my peers, so like I want to be better than my peers, so I got to figure out where I fall on that scale. So,
Yeah.
so yeah.
There's actually, so I know we're talking about ego ego and confidence, but when talking about confidence too, it's there's a scale that I actually used at work. I can't remember the term of it right now, but it's kind of like when you first learn something. So when you first learn something, you're like, oh, I don't know that much. And so your confidence mixed with your like knowledge of that thing is relatively low. You learn a little bit about that thing. Your knowledge is still low. So if you have knowledge of topic / confidence of topic, and like this is your scale. So it's like knowledge of the topic is still low, but your confidence so high because now you think you know a lot, but you just know a little bit, and then you get humbled, and then it's like, oh shit,
now I don't know anything.
You learn a little bit more, and you're like, I don't know anything about this topic, but I'm interested in learning more. So now your confidence is really low, but your knowledge has gone a little further down the scale, and then it's like, okay. Now it's like you go through that kind of again. Now I think I know a little bit more. So now you're halfway up the confidence scale, but I know there's still a lot going. And then you learned a shitload. And now it's like, I know a lot, but there's still so much more that I don't know because you don't know what you don't know. And that's kind of where you're at in the beginning of the scale. And then once you learn a lot, you're just kind of like in this middle over here. Yeah. So
just hanging out in the middle.
But that's also,
so true though.
Yeah. And like you'll see people, whether it's like their workout routine, like I've seen people who learn a little bit about exercise, like science. And all of a sudden they're like preaching on the workout floor. I was like, bro, come here. like,
my God, that's so true.
Yes, but also I love that the excitement people have, and it's like that pursuit of education. And we've all been there and things. So you think you're the guru, but it's like the guru's quiet, and that's the quiet guy in the room.
That's so funny because no offense to like people that compete, but I see that so much in people that compete that they go through like their competition, like their first competition, and then now they're like the world-class personal trainer, and I'm like, bro, like, that's not just because, like, you were doing these isolated, like, rear delt flies for your terrace major back there, like, doesn't mean, like, that's meant for everyone, like, so, I don't know, I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole with that.
Yeah, the whole thing, but it's like, they learned a little bit, they saw a little bit of what, like, is behind the door, and then they're like, I'm a fucking genius.
I know it all.
And that's with anything.
Yeah, that's with anything. I mean, we see that in work, too. Like, we see that with, like, people that are, like, think they're ready for promotions, and it's like that happened with me, too, like, where I was enrolled for a promotion, and I thought, like, I basically, like, excelled and mastered that role, when realistically, like, I get put into like a different, like I open up another door, and then I realize like realistically, like, damn, I don't know as much as I don't know. And then now I'm like, my confidence for the role has gone down. And then I slowly bring myself up when I start actually knowing stuff. And I'm like, oh, there's a lot more I could learn. And what's crazy is because you see that with people that we actually like work with that are like, you know what, I could do your job, this and that. And I'm like, okay. And then so it's like you can do my job. Okay. So then I ask a simple question, and it's like, oh wow, you don't know the simple question, because realistically you should know that if you're in my job. And the confidence goes down, and it's like, all right. Or they're just an arrogant person and their confidence is still up, and they're like, well, I could have learned that. And I'm like, all right, well,
sure.
Don't want to talk to you anymore. So yeah.
I looked up the name of that scale. It's the Dunning-Kruger effect.
The Dunning-Kruger effect.
Yeah, so if you're interested, that's pretty much how you learn things. Is
Dunning-Kruger. Your name. But yeah, I mean, that's what I think for the confidence and ego.
No, yeah, understand where you're at with that, and obviously always try to walk the line. Sometimes it's going to lead to being maybe a little egotistical, and just don't let it affect you and don't let it affect others, right? So I see leaders having too much ego, and sometimes they look at the people they're teaching and they almost don't teach them a lot because they're afraid, like, oh, that's my competition, they're gonna affect me. Or it's like other people won't take advice from other people because I don't want them to think that I'm not good, so I can't ask them how they did that. And it's like the rising tide like raises all ships. Like you should be open to everybody, and we all learn from each other because nobody's perfect. And it's like
it's kind of like piggyback off of that. Like I feel like it's especially important for leaders. Because if you do have an ego, again, like you could be that person where you have the ego and you're like, well, I don't want to teach this person because he's technically my competition. Or it's more like you have the ego and they're asking you questions that you realistically don't know the answer to, but you're acting like you do know the answer to them, and you're giving them false information. And then that leads to all the ships going down because it's fucking falling
false information shit.
So yeah.
That's true.
Something you said, since we're in the fitness industry, I'll drop this little nugget, right? The most successful trainers I know aren't the trainers that know everything. Some of the most successful trainers I've ever met or worked with are people that when their clients ask them questions like that, they don't give them a bullshit answer.
That's a fact.
They'll go and they'll be like, hey, respectfully, I want to make sure, like, I know a lot about a lot of things, but that particular question I'm not 100% on.
Yeah.
They'll go do the research and then come back and be like, hey, I actually found that this is to be true. Let's go work on that. Yeah. Rather than telling them, yeah, this guy's bullshitting you, and then they find out it's bullshit, then they don't trust you.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
and I think that has to go with any like leadership position. Like you have to realize when you're wrong and admit that you're wrong.
Yeah.
So, and that having that ego won't let you do that. So.
Even for self-development, because like if you don't know you're wrong,
yeah,
you're not going to change your opinion.
Oh my God, bro! There's so many people, like, where I'm like, bro, you're wrong,
and it's okay to be wrong,
and it's fine to be wrong. Like I get it, like
just don't be wrong again about the same thing.
And and it's crazy, and it's like because obviously we're young in the industry, and it sucks to tell people that are older in the industry that have been in the industry for a little bit longer that they're wrong. Because again, like that ego starts to take over, and it's like, yo, I've been in this industry for way longer than you have. I know a lot more than you have, and it's like, yeah, I understand that, and I respect that. Like, trust me, I'm not saying that I know more than you. I'm just saying that for this general topic, you are not correct.
Yeah, and bro, and the same thing.
That's not the proper way to do that, or vice versa. Like, for example, we're both again younger in the industry, so we. Naturally have to be bosses for people that are older than us. And their ego kind of doesn't let them
be receptive to that.
Exactly. Be them like, let that receptiveness like come in and like take that constructive criticism. So I feel like that's also like a part of not even having confidence, but just having an ego, because I feel like that's a sense of lack of confidence in a sense, because that could be, you're not as confident as like you are in the role, and you have a younger person telling you what to do, and now your just ego is taking over because you feel like you're confident in the role. If that makes sense. I don't know.
No, yeah, you always have to be open to criticism.
Yeah.
I have to be open to criticism.
Everyone
I don't
does.
know everything. I know very little.
I know.
in the scheme of things, I just know more than some people.
Facts. And those some people may know more than
me and other things.
Exactly. So,
and I need to be open to that.
Exactly.
And tomorrow, they could bring some. I could coach somebody today that will teach me something tomorrow.
Oh, 100%.
And it's like, it's a give and take.
Yeah. Oh. And what's crazy is there's so many people that are just closed-minded to that. But yeah, we'll go down different rabbit hole.
On that one. That's a whole another topic for another day. But the topic that I do want to get on today is
motherfucking 5-minute fitness tip. 5-minute fitness tip is what?
So usually we tell y'all what to do. This week we're gonna maybe say something you might want to avoid, which is drinking alcohol.
Sheesh.
Damn.
I know that's a hard pill for y'all to swallow.
Yeah, one of the biggest
alcoholics.
Yeah,
like, I'm kidding.
One of the biggest way to kill your gains. I know you probably just all cut loose on Labor Day weekend, but is drinking alcohol. Right. So the reason behind that is like it will blow you away if you actually accurately tracked what you consume. Is how many calories you guys consume through liquids. Like, even if you look at your Coors Lights, like a super light beer or your Michelob Ultras.
Yeah.
Like,
it's still 100 calories.
Yeah, that's 100 calories. And you don't just drink one.
You don't.
I'm talking to you.
Yeah, we're talking to you out there that doesn't just stop at one. So, alcoholic.
When you drink, let's say it's a Coors Light, and you drink like 3 of those, you're almost at 500 calories. Like, a homemade cooked meal is somewhere like around 700 calories. You just drank a meal.
Yeah. That's not even bringing into the fact of like hard alcohol and cocktails, like you got IPAs, bro, double the hops, double the calories. You got these sugary, really high sugary drinks that people drink, like margaritas and another like, I don't know, Sex on the Beach. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of sugary drinks.
No.
And realistically, that's like 200, 300 calories you're getting in one drink, or like you're getting 60 grams of like sugar in one drink. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. And it's good to, cut loose and take off a little bit of stress, because stress does different things to the hormones in your body, right, that can affect the way we metabolize protein. So maybe having one drink isn't terrible, but the problem is
No one stops at
moderation. Nobody stops at one. And once you have a couple, then you're super
One
loose,
drink,
and then
like-
you have like 5.
If I see someone drink one drink, I literally just ask them, like, what was the point of that?
Are you okay?
Yeah. What was the point of that? If you just drink one drink, you have a problem.
Yeah. Oh,
That's a
oh
problem.
my God. But one of the things that a lot of people don't talk about is actually like the effect that alcohol can have on the way that the body metabolizes protein.
Yeah.
So the consuming alcohol can affect the way the human body can metabolize or synthesize protein for up to the next 4 days. So like if you're like worried about how much protein you can get in, but yet you're drinking alcohol every night, like have a different conversation.
Yeah. That's not the conversation for you, my boy.
And I don't know all the stats behind it. Definitely, I would say go do your research. But drinking alcohol can also do certain things to the human body when it comes to testosterone levels and estrogen levels. Like you wonder why they call it like a beer belly. Like the male doesn't store, a lot of body fat in certain areas.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you look at these people who drink a lot of alcohol, they have a problem with where they store a lot of their body fat. And it's a lot to do with some of the biological effects that consuming that much alcohol is doing to you, not necessarily just the calorie intake.
Yeah. That's basically it. So don't drink alcohol.
Yeah. Have fun, but
Sober living.
now I'm not all that. Live your life.
Live your life,
But
live your life consciously.
Yeah.
Understand what you're putting in your body.
Yep. And that's it for this week on the Hustle Huddle.
Get this plan out of here.
Yeah. Who put this on my
Goddamn Jesse putting the plan over here.
But remember, hustle is the only controllable
Pillar of success. Come on now. That should be 6 cents. Everybody knows that on this episode, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But y'all know where you can find us. Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't follow us yet on Instagram, go over there and hit the follow button. You know what to do.
Y'all some fake motherfuckers, I swear.